Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 1st as well as 2nd September 2023. Okay, let's get into the today's Indian Express newspaper analysis. A bigger BRICS, better too. The Johannesburg Declaration, which has been declared in the latest BRICS summit, has held a consensus on the guiding principles as well as the standards, criteria and procedure for including new members into the BRICS grouping. So based on this, one country from Latin America, that is Argentina, and then a country from African continent, Egypt as well as Ethiopia, then the country from Middle East, Iran, Saudi Arabia and UAE are joined as new member, and they will be starting their membership in from the next summit onwards as a full-time member in the BRICS. And India has strategic ties with the Egypt, Saudi Arabia as well as UAE among the countries which are going to join the BRICS as the new members. And what is the concern has been raised in the news article is that the Egypt as well as Egypt as well as Argentina has been heavily dependent on China for their trade related activities, so that their activities in the BRICS may also get influenced by the Chinese policies. And then these Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and UAE belong to same regional countries, so that there has been conflict that has been taking place within them. This conflict will also be seen or influenced in the BRICS platform. And then, so because of these criteria, since I have said that Egypt as well as Argentina has been economically intertwined with China, Iran also been right now taking a policy of against US, so that it is naturally aligned with China, so that we could able to see that more number of countries which are going to be the member of the BRICS have aligned with China already. So we could able to see that the the Chinese will have some influence over the BRICS performance. So this is what the news is about. Okay, how the news is related to civil service examinations? That it is related to civil service and the prelims through a topic called current events of national as well as international importance. Secondly, under mains, it is related to a topic called bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreement involving India are affecting the India's interest. So through this topic only the news will be coming. Okay, let's discuss how the previously prelims question has been asked. With reference to a grouping of countries known as BRICS, consider the following statement. The first summit of the BRICS was held in Rio de Janeiro in 2009. No, it is not so. It is not Rio de Janeiro. It is wrong. And the South Africa was the last to join as the BRICS grouping. Yes, the statement is correct. So the answer is B, 2 only. So let's have a look into the details of the BRICS. BRICS, the term was first used in 2001 by Goldman Sachs. A BRIC, what they have, the Goldman Sachs in it is newspaper. What they have mentioned is that these 4 countries, Brazil, Russia, India and China are going to be the one of the dominant economics in the upcoming the next 50 years. So later in 2006, the formal BRICS foreign minister meet was held. Then in 2009 at Yekaterinburg, which is in Russia, the first formal BRICS summit took place. So, in the 2010, under the BRICS foreign minister meet, which were held in New York, it was decided that the South Africa will be the members of BRIC hereafter, so that the BRIC will be transformed itself into BRICS, where S indicates the South Africa. So this is what the details in relation to BRICS, and right now they occupy nearly 41% of the global population and 24% of economy, and then 16% of the global trade. So this much of importance the grouping holds. And under the BRICS, there is a development bank called New Development Bank. It was established in 2015 as an alternative to the other multilateral banks, which has been more oriented towards Western countries. So to cater to the needs of Asia and also to other developing countries, more importantly Global South, this New Development Bank was established by the BRICS member country, and it is located in Shanghai, China. And as I said, it has been formed to identify as well as develop the infrastructure projects which is sustainable as well as development oriented, and each BRICS members, all the members have the equal shareholding in the New Development Bank. And apart from BRICS members, it has the New Development Banks also has another member like Bangladesh, one minute, there is some technical glitch. Okay, Bangladesh, Egypt as well as UAE, and these three countries are also having shareholdings in various quantities, but the BRICS members or the member countries of the BRICS platform are having the same number of shares, and they are also having the shares which is way above than the these three countries shareholding, and they formed the BRICS country formed the New Development Bank with the initial corpus of 50 billion. So the board of governors will be the highest decision making body, which consists of finance ministers or the central bank governors of the respective country. Central bank governors of the respective country, and the membership for the New Development Bank is open to any one of them in the United Nations. It is not restricted to Global South. What is the advantage of being a member of New Development Bank is that a country could able to have access to credit to promote their development related activities. Second is, through this platform, the ties could be strengthened between the countries. Similarly, the innovation could be enhanced in financing. Right now, India as well as other major Global South countries are asking for reforms in major multilateral development banks. Since these banks has been formed by Global South countries, that is developing countries, those kind of reforms or innovation which they are been fighting for could be implemented in this New Development Bank. So it could act as a lead for how the reform or innovation in financing the developmental project could be made. It could set an example. So this is how the advantage. This is how the new development bank's advantages. So what is the advantage of overall BRICS to India is that it contributes to global south development and also the multipolarity of the world, which is one of the major foreign policy for India. And then it could enhance the strategic relationship. As I already said that the new members which are going to be included in the BRICS, among them the Egypt, UAE as well as Saudi Arabia, India holds the strategic relationship partnership with them, so that through this BRIC platform could able to enrich strategic partnership with other member countries with India, and then it also acts as a platform to coordinate the events or activities related to terrorism, and then it could act as another platform or another way to engage with China, so that the disputes in relation with the China could be solved amicably through this platform. So what is the challenges of BRICS is that first and foremost challenge is the dominance of China, and then second is there is challenge in disbursing their loans and also identifying the viable project for the development, infrastructure development and also the sustainable development. And then there is internal problem, that is there has been problem taking place between the member countries itself. So their bilateral problems is getting reflected in the working of BRICS platform too. The fourth is the Russian-Ukraine war. The member countries have been divided based upon the stand which they have took in the United Nations in relation to the Russian-Ukraine war. So this their stand which they have took in the UN against in relation to the Russian-Ukraine war is also acting as hindrance for coherence in their functioning. And what is the way forward is that there need to be reforms in the multilateral organization, which the BRICS country could able to provide a lead in that direction. Similarly, the BRICS platform could act as people to people cooperation, so that the cultural integration between the countries could take place. And then there need to be reforming in the project identification as well as project identification in terms of viable project. Secondly, dispersing the loans at frequent interval of time without any delay to the approved projects. So these kind of reforms needed to be taken in the BRICS, more importantly in New Development Bank, and using the problems to solve common issues that has been arising between the countries, not between the countries, that has been arised from the members of the countries, and it should not be used as the platform to show their internal dispute in that platform. So this is what the way forward is about. So this is what the overall analysis in relation to the BRICS platform. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about what does the coffee club is, who are all the members of coffee club and what are their goals. Second is, we should also know about IPSA, India, Brazil, South Africa. And then third is, we should also know about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be aware of. So this is what the overall analysis in relation to BRICS. Optimism and caution. Indian economy, what the article has mentioned is that Indian economy grew at 7.8% in the quarter 1, the first quarter of the financial year 24, according to the data released by National Statistics Office, which is way less than the development or the GDP growth predicted by the RBI. So in that, which drew the GDP is the service sector, which contributed for nearly 10.3% of GDP. And then while comparing the while we dig deep into the GDP data or the growth data, we could able to identify that the manufacturing sector grew only a meager amount, that is 4.7. Previous quarter it was 4.5 percentage. So, and also the private consumption as well as investment is growing positively, but because of the El Nino and then its resultant impact in the agricultural activities, they are expecting that in the upcoming quarter there will be reduction in the agriculture production because of rainfall deficit, which in turn lead to less return to the farmers. As a result of which there will be less consumption expenditure because of less rural demand. Which in turn will be having effect on investment. So from the next quarter onwards, there is a chance that this kind of event might take place because of the arrival of El Nino and its resultant impact on the agriculture sector. So how the news is related to civil service examination is that it is related to prelims under a topic called economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographic, social sector initiative. And under mains, it is related to Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, let's discuss about how important is the manufacturing sector for the economy. It enables to modernize the agriculture because the manufacturing sectors could able to provide the input machines which enable the agriculture sector to grow in terms of efficiency and also in terms of productivity, and also it could enable or act as the packaging as well as transform the agriculture produce from the farmers to the consumer market, and which in turn will enable the modernizing the agriculture because the agriculture sector could able to meet the consumer through the means of manufacturing sector, because in the like of packaging, cleaning, so these kind of activities which the manufacturing sector or the agri related manufacturing sector will be doing. Second is developing the backward region. So through increasing the manufacturing activities in those areas which has been less developed in terms of education, health and other social sector initiatives, this manufacturing sector could act as a means to develop those areas because of its potential to provide employment to huge number of people, more importantly semi-skilled as well as unskilled people, so that because of the employment the disposable income could get enhanced, so that the social sector related indicators could also get enhanced. As I said, it has the huge potential to provide employment opportunities to those have been already involved in the disguised employment in agriculture, and then it could act as a source to export, which in turn will enable India to earn forex reserve. Similarly, it reduces the disguised unemployment in agriculture. So these are all the importance of manufacturing sector in an economy. So what kind of challenges it faces right now is that it is suffering because of less skilled human resource. Second is high input price. Third is red tapeism from the administrative side in terms of project approval, environmental clearance, so on and so forth. Then intellectual property rights violation and their resultant litigation in the court. It's consuming their time because of the delay in the disposal of IPR related litigation in the court, and And then Chinese dumping policies also act as threat for domestic industries because of huge dumping of the China's products in India. And importance of private expenditure, private consumption expenditure in an economy is will enable the pickup of investment, which in turn will lead to increase in the domestic production, as a result of which the employment in the economy will get enhanced. So these are all the importance or the positives which arise because of the increased private consumption expenditure. And what is the reason for consumption expenditure is if a person has high disposable income, and then if an organization earns more profit, also the consumption expenditure will get increased. Similarly, less inflation will enable more people to spend, and then good monsoon will in turn enable the farmers to earn a respectable income, as a result of which the rural demand could enhanced. So what is the way forward for manufacturing sector? So what we needed to be done to enhance the manufacturing sector is that the skilled resource, the human resource need to be reskilled or upskilled to suit the manufacturing related jobs. Similarly, manufacturing policy should be made in tune with changing nature of technological advancement. Then the credit for the investment in manufacturing sector need to be made in such a way that they could be able to access without any kind of hindrance. And then the MSMEs efficiencies should also get boosted, so that they are acting as major input provider for the input or raw material provider for the manufacturing production. So these are all the important way forward which needed to be done. So what we needed to study further is we should know about the already present manufacturing policy. Second is we should know about the production link incentive scheme which has been implemented to promote investment as well as employment in India. Third is we should also know about index of industrial production, which ministry was responsible for releasing this IIP index, and what are all the indicators being followed under this IIP index we should be aware of it. So these are all the important analysis in relation to the manufacturing sector and then importance of private consumption expenditure. Flora, fauna and funga. So what the news is that the Fungi Foundation as well as UN have given a call to recognize funga as the third life form along with flora and fauna. Right now only 10% of the fungi species has been discovered, and it is also until 1969 it was not recognized as a distinct kingdom. Only after 1969 only, because of its huge potential, it came to be recognized as a distinct kingdom. Okay, how the news is related to civil service examination is, it is related to civil service examination under a topic called under prelims, a topic called general science, under mains a topic called conservation, environmental pollution degradation and environmental impact assessment. So these are all the areas under which the questions might get. This news is relevant. Okay, let's look into the details of fungi. Fungi is the eukaryotic organism, that is these kind of organism will have the nucleus at the center. Similarly, they are heterotroph, that is their life form will dependent based on consumption of autotroph, that is those organisms which makes food on their own. Similarly, it is the unicellular organism and it is reproduced by means of spores. And from the diagram of the fungi itself, we could be able to know that the fungi consist of cell wall. and it also contains plasma membrane. And then Golgi apparatus. So this is the nucleus. So it is because of the presence of nucleus, it is called as eukaryotic organisms. And then mitochondria and vacuole. So these are all the important constituent of cell of a fungi. Okay. Based upon the nutrient intake by the fungi, it has been divided into three types. One is saprophytic, another is parasitic, and is symbiotic. What does the term saprophytic means? The fungi nutrients will dependent on the fungi's intake of nutrients. This kind of fungi's intake of nutrient will dependent on the nutrient of the dead animals, because they feed the nutrient of dead animals. Such kind of fungi are called as saprophytic fungi. And parasitic fungi, they will be living on the other living creature, so that they could able to absorb the nutrient. Such kind of fungi which lives on the living organism, not the dead organism, is called as parasitic fungi. And symbiotic is this kind of fungi will have interdependency with the other organism, so that they will be thriving with the support of each other. So this kind of groupings is called, based on the nutrient, it has been classified into three types, which I have explained now. So based upon the fungi could able to reproduce both sexually as well as asexually. Under 1 minute, there is some technical news. Under vegetative reproduction, the reproduction of fungi will take place by budding, fission, and fragmentation. Under asexual reproduction, it takes place with the help of spores. Similarly, under sexual reproduction, the reproduction takes place because of ascospores, basidiospores, as well as oospores. So under these three mechanisms only, the reproduction of fungi will be taking place. So how the fungi, what importance does it hold for the environment is, it enables the nourishing of soil, which is very important for the agriculture production, as a result of which the entire ecosystem could be maintained. And then it acts as source for the carbon sink. It has the potential to intake the carbon which is present in the atmosphere, and then it able to clean the environment. For example, in the case of oil spill which has happened, if the oil spill has been happened in sea, means the hungry fungi could able to break down those kind of oil and eat them. And then sustenance, because of the presence of fungi in the soil and the other environment and the positive impact. For example, in the case of soil, it is nourishing and it is keeping the soil healthy, means it will enable the other living thing or the other living creature whose life form are dependent on the soil will enable them to live as well as enrich peacefully. Similarly, if the aphid, a kind of infection that is taking place in plants, if the aphid attack is going to happen in plants, means most importantly in the root system, the plant will be communicating this kind of attack with another plant. How they will be communicating is that the communication will be taking place through the mycorrhizal fungi which is present in the soil. So the mycorrhizal fungi act as the communicator of the messages from one plant to another about the kind of deadly attack, that is aphid attack, that is going to happen in the plant, so that the plant will have some defensive mechanism. After receiving the information from the fungi, it could able to use its defensive mechanism to protect itself against the potential aphid attack. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about what is bacteria and what is fungi and what are all the difference between bacteria, fungi as well as virus. Then second is, we should know about the National Center of Virology and under which ministry it is coming and in which place it is right now present. Second is, we should know about the nitrogen cycle. So these are all the other things which we needed to be aware of. A field check. So what the news is that during pandemic, agriculture production acted as one of the major shock absorber, and it could able to produce a bumper production because of good monsoon season, as a result of which during the time of COVID and the related lockdown, there was not India didn't face any kind of hunger related problems because of huge bumper production that happened during that period, which in turn acted as the shock absorber by contributing huge percentage to the GDP. So that, but after the pandemic, during the 2021 and 22 year period, the agriculture production got declined, but it maintained in the positive trend only. But they are right now expecting El Nino phenomenon later this year, as a result of which they are expecting that this El Nino phenomenon will act as major disruptor for the production of the agriculture activities, as a result of which the output of the agriculture will get reduced, which in turn will have huge impact on the Indian economy itself. So this is what the news is about. How the news is related to exam is that under prelims it is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains it is related to Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So how the question has been asked previously is that in relation to agriculture, in India, which one of the following can be considered as public investment in agriculture? Public investment is the investment made by government where they could able to extract some return at frequent period of time or between the frequent interval of time. What is that is fixing minimum support price for agriculture produce for all crops. No, it is revenue expenditure, not a public investment. Second is computerization of public agriculture credit society. Yes, through this computerization, government could able to get back the output or the income in terms of efficiency of improvement of credit society. Third is social capital development. Yes, it is also a kind of investment where the government could able to get back the return in terms of improvement in the social sector indicators like health, education and employment, etc. Free electricity supplied to farm. No, it is a kind of revenue expenditure where there won't be any kind of return that will be happening. Then waiver for agricultural loan by the banking systems. This is also a kind of revenue expenditure. Then setting up of cold storage facility by the government. It is the kind of public investment where the wastage of the products could be reduced so that the more number of adequate amount of the agriculture product could be saved, so which in turn it could able to satisfy the demand of the consumer, as a result of which there won't be any kind of shortages, which in turn will have reduced inflation. So answer is 2, 3 and 6. Okay, let's discuss about the agriculture system in India. Agriculture provides employment for nearly 70% of the rural household, and then it is contributing in terms of percentage to GDP is its contribution to GDP is 17%, and right now it is employing nearly 50% of the population. And what kind of significance does the agriculture hold for India is that it provides, as I said, nearly 50% of employment in India, and then contributes to the growth and development of India, as a result of which the national income is also getting increased, and it is acting as major contributor to solve the problem of hunger in India, and then it is acting as supplier of raw material for the agro-based industries. And then it in turn enhance, if the agro based industries are getting increased, means similarly industrial production will get increased, because the machineries and other equipments which is needed to process the output of the agriculture product need to be produced by manufacturing sectors, so that the industrial production or the manufacturing production will get enhanced. So what is the challenge right now being faced by agriculture system in India is that it is highly dependent on monsoon. So our Indian agriculture system is highly dependent on rainfall. The irrigation system is not well equipped to match the overall production of the agriculture. So the production that does not disrupt the supply chain balances. So because we are dependent on monsoon, there is a kind of instability, because right now we could be able to see that this August month is one of the highest or the driest month since 1901. Yeah. So if the rainfall, which is dependent on nature, which we could humans could not able to predict, if we are dependent on such kind of activities, means surely there will be a kind of insecurity will be prevailing. Second is the cropping pattern. Right now the cropping pattern is hugely concentrated on a certain crops only, like food crops, sugarcane and oilseeds, and the other crops have been given very less importance only. And then lack of land reforms has also disrupted the productivity in agriculture, and then disguised employment is also acting as major hindrance for the growth of agriculture, but also the other industries. And then lack of mechanization and lack of safety net for the agriculture laborers, social safety nets. So these are all the issues being right now faced in agriculture in India. So what we needed to do is that there need to be inclusive agri policy, so that the stakeholder need to be considered while making the policy. Second is there need to be land reforms to ensure that agriculture production gets increased or agriculture efficiency get enhanced. Then third is the technological adaptation need to be enhanced in the agriculture sector. Then the weather monitoring should be made in such a way that the precise weather prediction should be made, so that which could act as a preventive mechanism for any kind of disruption that is going to happen because of the change in the weather pattern. So this is what the way forward is. So this is what the overall analysis in relation to agriculture and its impact on Indian economy. After India, now Philippines, Malaysia and Taiwan rejects China's latest map. What the news is that China's new map lays claim on Indian territories as well as the entire South China Sea, which the India as well as the Southeast Asian countries are protesting against. The China has neglected the international tribunal order, which ruled against the claim of China over the vast majority of South China Sea. How the news is related to civil service examination is, it is related to prelims under current events of national and international importance. Similarly, under mains, it is related to India and its neighborhoods relationship in JS2. Okay, what does the 9 dash line is about is, China claims 90% of the South China Sea through a U-shaped 9 dash line that cuts the exclusive economic zone of many Southeast Asian countries. This line was declared invalid by the International Tribunal during 2016, which the Chinese government has neglected. So why the South China Sea is right now the hottest spot, and China is giving more importance to it, is that because of its presence of huge natural resource. Then second is more number of trade activities happening around this South China Sea. In terms of India, nearly 50% of Indian trade is happening through the South China Sea. So India is having a concern on South China Sea because of this, because of our trade security as well as energy security. And what is the India stand is that, right, until now India is following a policy of non-interference in the others countries' bilateral dispute, and then it has concern over trade, so that India has deployed its navy's resource in the South China Sea, and then it has started to internationalizing the issue by being the member of Quad. So these are all the important details in relation to the South China Sea. So what we needed to study further is that we should need to study about what is Quad, what is the objective of it, and who are all the member of it. Second is we should know about the entire geography of South China as well as East China Sea. And third is we should know about ASEAN countries, the structure, function as well as objective and the members of the ASEAN countries. So these are all the important points in relation to the news. Okay students, these are all the important news that appeared in the Indian Express newspaper, which we have analyzed, so that which we have analyzed, which would be useful from the perspective of UPSC prelims as well as mains. I hope the session is very useful for those who are watching. Thank you.